Okay. So, Britain, Canada, Australia has decided to reward Hamas with a state after Hamas has kind of implied over the weekend that all the Israeli hostages have been murdered. By whom? Palestinians. Okay, so that's where we are. Britain is getting as crazy as the Irish, the French, and all the other suicidal countries that for some reason support the Palestinians murdering Irish people. Sure, it was one Irish woman, an Irish man's wife, and they kidnapped his daughter, and it was an Irish soldier as well. But there was people there of Irish descent at the Nova Festival who were murdered, and the Irish people loving the farming, living along the Palestine envelope, had their farms destroyed, and that never gets mentioned. But hey, if the Palestinians get to have a state, why can't the Irish have a state? Why can't we have a Gael state, let's say, influenced by direct democracy and Judeo Christian values? But anyway, so Canada, Britain, Australia, formally recognizing Palestine after Hamas pretty much saying all the hostages are dead. But 87% of Brits are against recognizing the state of Palestine, along with 71% of French. So, a message to our Israeli friends that Europeans are not as crazy as our governments. I would regard as EU as an undemocratic relic inspired by, I don't know, Nazi ideology. And the Irish state was designed with the assumption that everybody was going to be a God-fearing Christian, and now we've been taken over by militant atheists, hence the alliance with the murderous Arabs. The Brits, as we demonstrate here, as in the real British people, are not that crazy. They see the attacks on, let's say, Christians in Britain, Ireland, Africa, and now even Greece is being invaded by the Ottomans. So, Mahmoud Abbas wants the Palestinian state to resemble the 1967 borders. Well, here's the borders of Israel on the 11th of June, 1967. So if they want that version of the Israeli borders, I'm happy with that. Let's say Israel was a lot bigger on that day, and the borders of Israel actually grow and shrink, grow and shrink. It used to be much bigger. What you call Jordan was a part of it, but anyway, leave Jordan be Jordan. So my proposal for a two-state solution for Israel and Palestine. Before I get into it, I'm just going to state that I'm actually not attached to whether Palestine gets a state or not. I don't live in that region. I only care about the Irish side of things. I want the war to end, and I want to have good business and trade relations with the Israelis because they're a bunch of crack. And they have radar systems, and we could have a good relationship with Israel. We manage their war bonds, and they help us build a radar system. So there's the 1967 border on the 11th of June. I don't really think that that's what the Palestinians want. If you get into Palestinian propaganda, they kind of take advantage of the fact that most Irish people actually don't know anything about that region. So they think, oh yeah, 1967 border sounds reasonable. It's not reasonable. Okay. So here is my proposal. This is what Palestine would look like if Israel took control of the part of the West Bank that we call Area C, and a bit of northern Gaza, and a bit buffering buffering what we call the Gaza envelope. This, yeah, I know, no, almost nobody watching this will understand this map and why I want Area C to be under Israeli control. Because how do I point at maps? Okay, that doesn't work. Because East Jerusalem is somewhat under Palestinian influence. I would like that to be totally under control of Israel, so I could visit Jerusalem, and I would like to visit them without being murdered. So Irish tourists would benefit quite a lot if Israel was in control of Area C, and also from a military point of view, there's hilltops there that the Palestinians have a good vantage point at firing mortars, rockets, and even just setting fire to things. Like there was a big attack last week, and even outside of Hamas's influence, Palestinians are setting fire to things and attacking Israelis all year. So what I'd want is Israel getting control of Area C and build a big military buffer zone between Israel and the new Palestinian state. And ideally, similar to the denazification of Germany, we want the denazification of Palestine. We want a denazification of Ireland as well. With denazification, we would have a demilitarized Palestine. Palestine can't have a military. Okay, maybe 20 years, but like in the short term, can't you can't murder like whatever 1,500 Jews. You can't have the largest genocide against Jews in the 21st century and you win a fully functional state. It has to be demilitarized. Like, bro, like, can you manage a police force? Like, if they can't manage a police force, why would you give them a military? That's just insane. But anyway, that's my proposal. A Palestinian state, but with a Israeli-controlled buffer zone. Uh, this idea I have is very similar to Donald Trump's proposal in 2020. This is a more detailed map. It's got lines and squiggles and stuff, so it's obviously more intelligent. Such a this is what was proposed to the Palestinians 5 years ago. It's okay. Would you like a new state? This is what it would be like. It in some ways the territory would be larger in volume. Well, this is the 2020 proposal. I'm not saying it should be the new Palestinian state should be this generous, but the Palestinians would get more land in the 2020 proposal, and Israel would be safe. That was the original 2020 proposal. Like I said, I'm not particularly attached to Palestine getting a state or not. That's not really my business. But I would like East Jerusalem, Bethlehem, Hebron, and Mount Gerizim to be safe, so we can enjoy it. So that is my proposal. And if you're an Irishman watching this, please share this video or broadcast with your local politicians, and you can contact me on Twitter and YouTube. And hey, maybe this can be the start of a conversation. Okay, Palestine wants a state. Have a demilitarized state and buffer zones between Israel's current borders, but extending their control and influence in order to create a buffer zone. We know for sure that people in Hebron would love this idea. And then maybe Bethlehem can be a Christian town again. Let's see. So there you go. That's my proposal. Maybe Palestine can be free, or a discount Palestine on offer is better than, I guess. I would like to point out to people this is something that people keep forgetting about the war against Israel. The Hamas are making the decisions in Qatar. So they're in luxurious hotels going, yeah, we'll just continue the war because they're not fighting it. Very similarly, the Irish politicians that are encouraging a war against Israel will not be fighting in that war, and they will not be paying the taxes to cover for it. It will be ordinary Irish people risking our lives by being under the influence of radical jihadists and paying them. We are spending billions of euro, like talking about around 7 billion euro of Irish money to encourage terrorism in Ireland. And if you watch my YouTube channel, Liberty Strikes, I cover this topic in detail. I bid you adieu. And Mr. High, Herring Applause.